Sup dudes, it sucks because I just went through and critiqued this animation and then figured out my stupid program that I'm using didn't have my headset selected as the, like, whatever. It didn't pick up my voice, so it was stupid. So it's not gonna have sound. I'm gonna turn this into a guide layer that lets us play it. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's all good. It's pretty good animation overall. I mean, there's some things here and there that would have made it better. Otherwise, I mean, it's pretty short. Could have been a lot longer, which would have been better, but it's all good. And one more time for good luck. I like the cinematic quality. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. I'm gonna actually redo this. That way I don't have to explain the drawings I already have. I can just draw again. Alright. This is pretty cool. Maybe do more defined shading. That way you can tell the legs and whatnot. It's not just like a blue blob. A large, big blue blob. Alright. This is pretty cool. It's pretty gangster, like a G6. The movements are pretty good overall in this. I'm just gonna reiterate. I know I've said it in a lot of videos, but cleaning up is a very important thing. Just try to make your figures look smooth. Like right here, he dips in like that. If you were to zoom in, which you can see it. Look. See, if the arm goes like that. I'll just straighten that out. This is about as zoomed in as the animation is almost. Yeah, pretty close. This, in one of my previous videos I talked about the path of motion, which is, let's just say this is going to be the central, I guess, joint, because that's where everything is connected to. Everything's connected to that joint. So to make your animation smooth, your movements smooth and flow well, it's good to have a very smooth path of motion. Sorry, I'm tired. But yeah, so when you do something like this, you want to be able to go from there to here, and then you're going to go up here, and then you're going to go over here, then you're going to go over here, and I think it's down here somewhere. Then there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. Alright. As you can see, he's pretty much all over the place here, which isn't good. It's not good. The way he jumps with his leg, this leg right here, and his movement, whenever you move, you pretty much force all of your weight on one leg when you're moving with your legs, like when you're jumping or running. Picture it as a run. If he were to be running, all of his weight is going to be put on this leg at around this point in time. That way, this leg is going to push off. It's going to be able to move all that weight. It's going to carry everything so it can move it forward, while this leg and the other arm would be going out in front of it. That way it can distribute the weight and it can take it. That way it holds its force and you don't fall and end up fucking some shit up. This would be very awkward if this leg was carrying all the weight, because if this leg back here was carrying all the weight, well then you probably would just fall straight into the ground because you would have no support off of this leg. Having said that, when you go into a jump like this and you push off all your weight from this leg to go forward, it doesn't mean out, up, out, down, back around. It's not what happens. When you push off with that leg this way, you're gonna go this way. You're not gonna go like that. That's very weird. If you did, I mean, it's not to say it's impossible, but if you were to do something like that, where you all of a sudden come back, you would have to have something push you back. You can't just jump one way and in mid-stride just turn around. like, and go the other way. You can't just jump forward and then halfway through the jump decide you don't want to jump quite as far, so you come back. Well, if you're jumping, if you're doing a long jump and you decide you don't want to go as far as you pushed off of the ground, the amount of forces you used to push you as far as you thought you did want to go, you're gonna try to put your legs down to catch you, to stop you. In which case, when you do something like that, you're probably gonna be off balance, which is gonna make your upper body turn. Your arms are gonna try to catch you. That's what's gonna happen. Whereas if you just jump and you do it how I guess you planned on doing it, you just wanted to jump really far, then everything would be normal. You'd catch yourself and you could easily walk it off into a walk. But you can't jump and then come back. It's not how it works. It's not how physics work. It's not how force works. Can't do that. Something else has to catch and push the weight again in order for something like that to happen. I like this. I like this stuff right here. How we changed the color. Maybe make it darker, something more obvious. Just so you know, you don't like. You obviously made the line underneath it smaller. That way you could pull this effect off without the foot coming around this way. Without this being all dark blue, like if it was a green foot, with all that being green. You could have made it 1 point thinner. Here, I'll show you. Let's see. Sorry to put my pen down and grab my mouse if I'm going to be doing weird gangsta mouse stuff. Let's do this as 60. And then you want to draw another foot. If you want your foot here, see how it's, here, I'll use a darker color. So you can tell. Easier. Oh, look at that. It worked. Alright, well sometimes you're going to have this problem. Sometimes your foot, if you change the colors like that, you obviously don't want this going on right here, or it comes around, because that's not going to look right. It's going to look like the foot is on top of this leg, which I guess that's how it would look if you're doing a perspective of somebody running, I guess, and the camera would be behind them, so you can see their feet when it picked up off the ground. That would be okay, but that's not what he wants in this situation. All he would have to do is make, like, I just did 60.2. Well, since it's 0.2, it's larger than it being a 60 size thickness, which is fine. It works. See, now you can hardly even tell that it's larger, that this line is larger than this one, whereas in his, I mean, you can obviously tell. I don't know if you can tell by how fast it's going, but it's good to keep in mind things in a frame by frame sense, because the more attention to detail you have, the better off you are. Maybe smoothing out the hair. I don't know. I kind of like the hair. I didn't really have a problem with that. But maybe smooth that out, because it does look a little rough right here. But yeah, that's no problem. Just in case you weren't aware of how to pull that effect off. The cape again was jerky in some spots, like this one. I'll show you. Like it just goes up, jerks down, whereas I think it should have been nice and smooth. Something like that, just nice and smooth. I like the blurs. The blurs are a nice feel to it, adds force. The legs, I don't know, his leg movements are awkward. See, look at that. Kicks him, boom. Oh, the foot was like what there? No, it was like that. Yeah, it's weird. That's just a very awkward pose. Here Alright, you can get a sneak peek of my RHG. I'll show you. I haven't cleaned it up or anything, but skip forward. Alright, this, let's just say, like, when you're animating movements, your leg, like a leg, just for a walk, shit, if I can make a new layer, it's so laggy. The foot that's carrying the weight, you also have a line of motion going on with your body. You have to have one fluid line of motion going on, which would be like from the neck, it comes down to the leg, would be mine. In which case, so in this frame, as it carries on, it's still fluid. It's still a very fluid line of motion between what's carrying the weight, because it has to. You have to have an even distribution of that. See, that's how it is. Then this foot is going to take the weight. I'm trying to stay down here, that way you guys can't see what all's going on with the other guy. Just like that. You have to have very even. I do a cartwheel over here. Like if you look at this. Right now the back is fluid with the legs. The only reason I'm doing this is so you guys can see through an example without me having to draw everything out. It'd be a whole lot easier. The arms are going to take it. See. It's smooth. You have to, like this leg right here, it branches off too crooked, but whereas when the arms are bent like this, it's going to be able to support the weight of the back and the legs. So you have a fluid line of motion going on with the back and this leg. Well, then he's going to push off again, and he's going to go do his thing. That's about enough of that. Give it a second to save, because I don't like fucking my shit up. Alright, so, which brings me to this. Your weight is down here. It goes up. Well, now you should be able to understand what the problem is. Your line of motion is right here. That's where your line of motion is, instead of down here on the leg. Well, since that's your line of motion, that means all of your weight is up here, which would force you to fall and crash and break your leg. Then boom, up. Again, that's where it is, which means your back probably should have been bent this way. That's probably what you should have done to fix that. Just have your character's back like this. You could have had the arms down there and bring the leg down. Which would have worked out. The reactions, look at his back. That's how large his back is, that frame. That's how large it is in this frame. Just be careful about your resizing. It'll sneak up on you. It's better if you draw a few frames and you just constantly go back and just not necessarily play the whole animation, but just scroll through your frames. That way you can get a feel of what everything looks like. And if you can't honestly say that his back is a different size there than it is there, then you have a problem. See, like look at his joint down here where his legs is. Just watch that joint. See how it fluctuates? It goes down, up, down. Yeah, that's not good either. Just gotta be careful about stuff like that. Oh, he's also very spastic. You hit him and he just jerks back to catch himself. That way he can stand up. Gotta be careful about stuff like that. Just take your time when you're animating. This last hit, look at that. Doesn't even touch him. Ah, Darth Vader up in this bitch. You probably should have at least had an impact hit going on right there. You could have done something slow motion to show the hit, so you had the arm connect to the face. God damn it. You could have had the arm come out and connect to the face, and then done an effect with a radial color on just masking the face to push it out, which that would have been cool. But I don't want to focus too much on effects other than this one, because the effect you use right here for your little glowing light, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of that, how you did it. You just stacked everything on top of one another. What you should have done is radial. Is this, use F, it's the gradient tool. It should work, whatever. That didn't want to work with me. Anyways, since you're using white, Just make both sides white, alpha it out. I'm sure you know how to do this, but in case people don't, yeah. See, I think that looks much better. This looks much better than that. But if you want to go for that staggering effect, implying that, you know, it's got a very intense glow going on right around the surface of it, and then it fades out, maybe like the sun or something like that, then you can do that. You just have to add one of these nodes in there. Here. I'll alpha this one at 80, or no. Do it like that. Which would have allowed you to do that, to get that effect that you're going for. In case you were to have an orb inside of it. But honestly, if you're gonna use blue, if you're gonna charge up blue, then you should have a blue glow rather than a white glow. Just looks better. See, you could have done a lighter blue. Something like that with the colors would have looked better. Which brings me to my next point. It's right here. If you're gonna start with an orb, if you're gonna throw an orb, instead of blurring it and having it jagged going on right here, an orb, it's going to be smooth. Should be blurred, probably like that. That would have made it look better instead of it being jagged. Just this. That's very weird. Usually if it's jagged like that, I mean, that implies something like fire, something that's letting off energy as it's flying, and which you should probably have particles or something going on behind it. I love that about tablets. Anyways, oops, some of these things helped you out. Just, you had a very good animation. Just pay a lot more attention to some of the things that you do. Clean it up, make it look professional, and you'll have really good animation if you have length. Peace.